love you.
Love you too. Make sure you start the recording.
I did. Thank you. I can't. Oh, I got it.
And you're recording?
Yes,
Okay.
I am. Thank you.
You got it.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, no.
Hello.
Hold on.
Sorry, I'm late.
Are you there?
I literally the
No,
the
I
alarm.
can't hear you. Can you
Oh, you
hear
can't.
me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hang
Hello?
on. I think I have. I'm trying to, Eric.
Blah 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 blah
Oh, now I hear you. Yay.
blah. Boop,
Yes, I
boop.
got it. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yay. It was just muted. It was very simple. Huzzah.
Yeah, I'm trying to set up stuff for anyways, image competition, or not image competition. It's a technical image thing for the evaluation I have to do to complete my certification process. So it's the second part of a two-part of exam to earn my, certification, or certified professional photographer from PPA. Anyways, so I was setting that up. I'm in my bathrobe when the alarm goes off, which means Jada had to sign in to take her Star 360 test, and I was like, oh my god, I'm in my robe. And then I was like, then I realized I was like, oh my gosh, 9 o'clock, I have to sign on with you, and I had a bit of donuts on me, and I was like, oh god, I'm a hot mess. I gotta do something. So
Oh, you changed out of your robe. That was very nice.
I did. I kept my PJ pants on though.
Oh, I totally have my PJ pants on.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite PJ pants. I'm always excited when they come out of the wash. I'm like, yes, like it's ready. So they're disgusting.
Nice.
How is your, when are you doing the second part? Is that this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to do it in my home. It's due by the 16th is the last day to submit your images. So
what do you have to do? Done. Like, do you have specific assignments? I have to submit
there's three images that you have to turn in. And there's a whole kit that they give you, and you have to set up some gray cards on the floor and place a tiny little wooden mannequin, and a styrofoam ball, a Sharpie, and some crayons down. And you have to make sure that when you submit your images and they ask for different things, that you're paying attention to your exposure, you're not blowing out your highlights or underexposing your darker parts. So
those are super random items. Like, why do they pick those?
Well, the styrofoam ball, because it's white, so if you don't have a proper exposure and you overexpose, that styrofoam ball will it'll look too white. There'll be no detail, loss of detail. Same with the black Sharpie. You're not going to see.
Oh, and the different shades of gray, same kind of idea.
Yeah, and they want to make sure you understand depth of field, your white balance. I mean, it's kind of, the written exam, they make sure that you know all your stuff, basically.
Did you already do that part? Did you already do the written exam part?
I did.
Didn't you find out you did well, or had that happened?
Yes, I did. I mean, I passed. I don't know if I did well.
Well, but I mean, yeah.
But I passed. So that was, I know that, some people probably did a lot better than me. Other people probably, I don't know, didn't, but it was a solid B. So.
Well, that's good. And passing is all that really matters, because they hopefully, ideally, would set the standards at a point where, as long as you achieve our minimum standards, you're gonna, what you're doing.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So
of course you always do your best, but yeah.
Yeah. At this point, I just have to put what I know into practice. And so that's why they have the technical evaluation.
So how did they know that you're not just playing with effects on your images after you've taken the pictures? Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're actually handing in raw images. So kind of like in your
from
film.
film?
Yeah, kind of like in your film days when before you process them, post-processing, that's when you do all your editing and stuff. But if you're like taking the negative and then I'm going to get technical. I don't want to get technical. But anyways, in
Yeah.
DSLRs, your digital camera, you have a mirror sensor in the back of your camera, and that's when every time you click your shutter, you're capturing an exposure, and then it sends it to your little SD card or whatever. And so, anyways,
Okay.
and it captures a raw image. Some cameras can only do JPEGs, but other cameras can do RAW, which gives you a whole lot more pixels to, manipulate. It's more detailed. It's just a larger file. So,
Oh. So, which kind of cameras? The
so there's a DSLR. Yeah.
DSLR, and those are the kind that do the images, like
Well,
a
I mean, like
traditional camera would, right?
you have a regular point and shoot camera. Even your camera phone will shoot, digital images. But there's only certain cameras that can actually capture raw images. So that'll give you kind of a leg up on being able to have more
Interesting.
pixels to work with.
Do you know what's happening inside other digital cameras? Like, is the image just being made digital, I guess? Like, I don't know. Do
I
you
mean,
understand those?
well, yeah, because I mean, like I said, every time you hit the shutter button, you're actually capturing an exposure, an image, and
Yeah.
then the sensor gets all the data, and then, you know, from your lens, and then it captures the exposure and gets all the data, and then it goes into your SD card in a watered down way. So, and
Okay.
then you can use your SD card to plug it into your computer, or
Yes, I know
even
how to
throw
do
it
those
onto
things.
your. Hmm?
I do know how to do those things, like an
Yeah,
external hard drive. I can do,
yeah,
and an
exactly.
SD card. I have those. I even
Yeah,
have the really tiny ones, which make me so nervous because they're
I know.
so small.
They are
But
super small.
yes, I don't understand how any of the stuff like in them works though. Like all the digital, like I get the idea behind what you're talking about with the capturing the actual
Yeah, it's
image.
all binary
But
numbers, man. It's like all zeros and
so
ones.
crazy. Do you know
Yeah.
binary stuff and get how all
No,
that works?
I do not. It's incredible, but I mean that's just, just how information data is interpreted, is basically down to the unit of zeros and ones. So, and then, plop
Alrighty.
those in through a anyways.
I
It's
don't know how that works.
it's
It's just so
complicated, but it's not
amazing.
complicated. I don't know, but it's fun. For me, it's been a great learning experience. So
Learning about binary or all of the digital
just all of
photography.
photography.
All photography, yeah.
Yeah, all of photography. So, and there's so much more that I need to learn. But, at least I'm taking steps to get better. Become.
Do you find, like, I think it's true for everything, like, the more you learn about photography, like, the more you learn, oh my God, there's so much more out there than I ever knew was out there. And I actually know way less than I thought I knew. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So one of my favorite documentaries is I Dream of Sushi. And
Oh,
it's about this gentleman. He's out in Japan, and he makes sushi, and he's been making sushi for like, God, years. And even his sons, who are now older, they make sushi, but it's just a practice of consistency. Um, you know, to always deliver consistent quality, and that's what makes you good. And it was like the one sushi restaurant in the world at that time that actually
oh,
earned a
whoa.
Michelin star. And so, and
It's
he
in
said,
Japan?
yeah, it's in Japan. So I Dream of Sushi. I love it. I
I
mean, a lot
love
of it,
documentaries.
yeah, it's a good one. If you want to learn, following your passion, even if it's not like anything, grand, like, oh, I'm going to be a sports star, or, I'm going to be the most famous actress. It's, even the most simplest task. And that's what I love, that he puts like so much effort, time, and dedication
Oh,
to his craft as a sushi maker, and just learning about the different rices, finding the relationship with different vendors. And it was just really good. I liked it. I don't know. So,
it sounds really good. Like, I love it. I love cooking stuff, but it sounds like it's more about the process. And I love it when I can watch a documentary about something that's really different from what my life is like, but
yeah.
then see like how there's sort of the grander theme there. I'm like, oh, I see how that would work. Like for me, just like doing the dishes, like mopping the floor, just putting the attention into everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love stories like that. And I love documentaries. I'm
Yeah.
totally gonna watch that.
Well, speaking of which, anything you have recommended, like
Uh-huh.
I actually like restarted my Netflix account.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because I was like,
Oh,
oh, there's so many good things I'm hearing. So we watched the Zac Efron, the
did you?
Planet Something in Me, or something like that.
Down to Earth?
Yeah, Down to Earth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So we watched the one from Iceland, and that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't funny, but it was just, I don't know, it kind of grabbed your attention, and it was just really neat. And so, I mean, I just, I don't know, I felt like I could relate, at least, because I would be that goofy person standing in
Okay.
Iceland, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like I'm like a, academic. It's like, I'm going to treat this seriously. I mean, this is like layman terms, like learning about
Yeah.
green energy. So I like that approach, at least.
Okay, cool. I was worried that he was coming off really like a bro and maybe not taking it seriously. That's what it was. Because like
Yeah.
that first episode, I felt like, I don't know. I feel like, is he taking this seriously or is this just a goof? But then as I watched more of the series, like he definitely seems like he grows from it. It
Okay.
feels so goofy when I say stuff like that, but he really does. He seems like he gets more in touch with what's really going on and is less goofy. I don't know. I have a hard time with words, like finding the right words.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's cool that he comes off that way because I want it like I want for those people that are doing those things to succeed and to reach people in like
Yeah.
a real way. That's
So
awesome.
I definitely like, yeah, your recommendations have been good. We even listened to
Yay.
the Joe Rogan episode of Snowden. And that
Oh, did
is a
you?
long episode. Like his most recent one.
Oh, I haven't heard the most recent one. I heard one from like probably 2 months ago, but I
Oh
suppose
yeah,
there's a recent
I
one.
guess that's the one. I guess that's the one.
It might be. He did have him on like a week or two ago, like really recently. Did he talk
Okay.
about the internet privacy
Well, yeah, he went
issues?
into that. He went into the WikiLeaks. He went into just whistleblowers and how,
Okay,
yeah,
maybe that is the one I heard too.
I don't
Because
know.
it,
I mean, like we didn't finish it because we were commuting up. It's like, hey, I want to listen to this, and our commute to Williamsburg is like an hour, roughly. So
round trip or one way?
one way.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was like, that's when I like to listen to my podcast, at least. So
That's cool. That's totally when I would commute anywhere. That's especially because Austin gets awesome traffic. Yeah, I totally listen to podcasts. I did that back in Washington too. Yeah, anyway. I
yeah,
like using the time for that because then I feel like, oh, I'm not just in traffic being really mad. Like there's something productive happening. Good for me.
yeah.
But did it freak you out a little bit? It freaked me
Uh,
out a little bit.
it did. Well, especially after I followed it up with the Social Dilemma Netflix docu that you told me about as well. So like
Oh,
I literally like deleted Facebook and Instagram off my phone. And
did
I'm
you?
like, Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll still participate and engage, but I will have to make it like more of an effort on my part. And, I kind of put in a practice where it's just like, okay, I'll catch up on the news like in the morning or in the evening, but not let it consume me all day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because yeah,
That's
after watching
very
that,
important to do. Otherwise, you're just immersed in it all day. And yeah, and then once you know all the stuff in that, it's like,
yeah,
geez,
between those two, it's like, oh, geez.
yeah. And then, there's that whole thing for every rat you see, there's like 1,000 you don't see. It's like, oh, this is the information we're getting. What
Yeah,
don't we know? Like, I know a few things that I didn't know were going on after my military service that it feels weird that I know. But it's stuff like, oh, geez, we're doing that. Okay,
okay.
and
Well,
we shouldn't be doing that. Okay, I don't know. I don't want to get myself,
I
but
know.
it's just like if I know that much as a low level person, and I got that information from another low level person, it's like, whoa, what don't I know? Maybe I
Yeah,
don't want to know. Because if I do know, I kind of feel like I don't even know what to do about it.
I know. But I appreciate those kind of like those documentaries or those kind of podcasts because it really makes you pause and think, okay, I signed up for a service and it's free, but who's actually like paying? Like I'm
Yeah.
basically shuffling out my privacy rights.
Yeah, yeah, because there's a cost. There's always a cost, even if it's not monetary. Totally, yeah.
I totally just, and I breeze through the terms and conditions. I'm like, whatever.
I
It's just
do
like, I
too.
know y'all are spying on me, whatever.
I do that too. I had to rationalize it like, well, I could just not use this stuff, but then I'm going to have to be like an Amish person. Like if you want to avoid all of that, like if you look at probably the Gmail terms and conditions, it would be like, well, I'm not using Gmail. I'm not using Messenger. You'd eventually run out of things. And
And look
like,
at, okay, so like Facebook, I've always had this love hate thing. Well, I just, whatever. Um, with Facebook. And I make a habit of going through my activity log and clearing out any of last month's activity because I don't see why they need a whole archive of that.
right.
So, and also it just builds up more data for them
Mm-hmm.
to kind of build a profile on me or
Yeah.
anyone. Maybe they already have it, whatever. I chose to put my stuff out there. But for anybody who's like creeping on you, it's like, I
Yeah.
don't need them to know what I did 2 years ago and,
Yeah.
or what I like. It's like, I have a friend who's in HR and sourcing for employees, and basically, um, it's just kind of like finding out data on any candidate for a open position.
Oh,
And
what
so,
company do they work for? Or would you rather? You don't have to say.
yeah, I won't say it,
Okay.
but
Is it a big
but
company?
I don't know if it's a big company. I'm
Okay.
not even in that world, so
Oh, okay.
I don't know. So, but just for them to say, okay, this is what this job role needs, I'm going to find candidates for that, and there's recruiters for that, but hers is, I think, more like specific in finding out the right candidate. And I don't really truly understand it, but she's like, she got herself off of a lot of those social platforms and very careful about what she
Oh.
shares now because she's like, if I can find it as an HR person, like who knows what other people can find.
Oh.
And
Does
she's like,
she have any sort of special access to stuff as an HR person, or does she have like the same access that you or I would? You
I'm
know what I
not
mean?
really I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure, to tell you honestly, because she said you can go into
Huh.
Facebook, you can do a people search, whatever. I don't know. She probably has extra like access to stuff from companies that
Yeah.
probably buy into. getting
Oh,
down
yeah.
on people. So
That's a weird thing. I heard someone say once that the currency of the future isn't dollars, it's shares of our attention. I was like, oh. When I think about like how much an app gets my attention and how like they put in your face stuff really fast because then they're getting shares of your attention, and I don't know, it made sense kind of. It was on a Joe Rogan thing too. I wish I remember who it was, but it was
yeah.
very interesting.
Ugh. I'm like, ugh.
Everyone keeps telling me, oh, there's this new app you would really love, like all these games and stuff, and I just refuse to download any of them because I would waste like so much time. I have one game, I play solitaire on my phone, but other than that, I don't play any games at all. Because otherwise I would get so involved. Because I've done that before.
Like, full disclosure, Tropic Escape was one of the games that like I love to play, and it's on your phone. It's kind of like Farmville, I guess, but it's more tropical themed. But anywho, yeah, I spent way too much time. I even paid money just to like up a level like quicker, and it's just like, what the hell am I doing? Like, this is, yeah, after you realize it's just like, I'm wasting so much time.
You do get so involved in it though, like I did with Plants vs. Zombies. I don't think it's a thing so much now. It was like when the iPod Touch was still a thing, like a while ago, but I got so involved with it. Like I'd spend my whole lunch hour just playing, and I'd spend every break doing it. And I paid money for like big plants and computers.
They get you on that because it's just like, hey, you know, you have 5 more minutes until your crop is ready. Oh, somebody's calling me. Oh, it's actually my studio line. They can leave a message. Okay, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I feel bad. Am I keeping you from their importantness?
No, I'm not. If they leave a message, I'll check it later. Hopefully they'll leave a message. I don't know. People don't leave messages anymore. Have you noticed that?
I have noticed that. Yeah. If people call me, because I don't call people that much anymore either. But if they do, people don't leave me messages anymore. They'll just send texts, or I guess they just move on and they're like, I don't need to talk to her that fast.
Yeah.
It's very odd. Like my mom, she used to call me all the time. She texts an awful lot now.
Really?
Which, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because she's like involved in all of this stuff. You remember she'd be like cleaning at like 2 a.m. She's just very busy doing things. So.
Beep.
Sorry, I was trying to pretend I didn't do that. Maybe they didn't notice. All right. That gets the biggest laugh at the ballet. Like it's happened 2, maybe 3 times where I've been like stacking my music and it'll slip and just like smash, and it makes them laugh so hard every time. Then I just pop up from behind and like, sorry.
Aww.
Really fun.
Do you miss it?
Dude, it was really fun. And I like some of the kids, like I started to get to know them, you know, and there were a couple of girls that would come and like want to play the piano after class, and they'd like sit on the bench and then run off to their next class. And it was really cute. And I had one teacher in particular, Alexa, and she was born in the Philippines also. And like we had seen her do this dance, like not dance, probably more like interpretive dance or creative movement thing as an exhibit at the Blanton Art Museum. And like the kids and Eric and I saw it like probably 3 years ago or 2 years before the ballet. And she was in it, and she was like so over the top good that we stood and stayed like an extra 30 minutes. And then I went and I started working at the ballet, and she was the teacher for like 8 of the classes I played for. And I was like, oh my God, that was you. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe you saw that. And anyway, but I would talk to her a little bit every day, and just she was so cool, and she was so neat and interesting, and I just like I don't see her anymore now, and so I miss that stuff.
You keep up with them? Text or call?
we have I guess it's been a while. It's just so weird out of context. Why are you laughing? What am I doing that's weird?
No, because you're like, it's been a while. Like, I get the guilt thing. It's
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I get it too.
When it's like the days start blurring together and when I'm not, actually seeing them on a regular basis, like I'm used to, it becomes a new thing to add and then I forget to. It's very hard to add like new things to the routine. I don't know if you experience that, but if I'm like getting into the habit of walking the dog regularly was very hard, especially when it got so hot that I had to do it like before 9 in the morning. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
it was very hard. But then once it's sort of a habit and a regular thing, it's not so hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that initial getting it going for me is really can be so exhausting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to know more about the picture thing with the stuff. Do you have like a specific way that you have to arrange all of the items they've given you, or can you like arrange it however you
Like, there's a
want?
whole checklist of how you gotta have it set up. You got, the way you overlap the gray card or the gray pieces of paper, and then on top of that, you have to have the mannequin. The mannequin has to be, I think it's like 8 inches, or anyways, from the edge of the paper to the rear base of the mannequin, and then where you place your styrofoam ball with the Sharpie, and then the crowns have to be like on a 45-degree angle on the opposite side of the mannequin. I mean, it's pretty specific.
Okay, so they have given you exactly what they want you to do with it, but you only get the checklist of stuff? Like you don't get a picture example, or do you get a picture?
They do give you a picture example
Oh.
of how it's supposed to look like,
Okay.
but you have to, as a photographer, have to figure out the correct exposure, because even if they gave you that, everybody's environment is going to be different, so they want you to, figure out the exposure. Like, this is what the depth of field, as far as the background's blurry and this part's not. They'll give you what those parameters, but everything else as far as how the light should shine and how intense, and that's up to you to figure out.
Okay. Is it just one setup that you take multiple pictures of, or do you have multiple
so it's
setups
one
that you
setup.
do?
I don't have to move the mannequin or the other objects. They just stay in place, but I do have to move my camera from, like, I do one shot head on, and then I do 2 shots overhead, like right on top of all the subjects. So
Interesting. Is that the whole exam? Is those just the groups of pictures?
Yeah, it's 3 images. I can look at the images and just make sure that, I have everything correct, but I can't modify my images, and they can see all the data on it to make sure, but
because of the whole image capture thingy, right?
Well, no, I mean, so after you capture the image and you bring it into your software, whether it's Lightroom, for me, I use Capture One. But anywho, I can check it as far as on my, what a histogram is? It's basically like a graph to let you know the value of light and dark of each pixel, basically.
Oh, okay.
And so you can tell when it's blown out on either side, so of being overexposed or underexposed. So I would check that to make sure it's correct, and then I would send it off.
So you could check it, and then you could retake the images, but you just can't mess with them?
Yeah, basically, if I don't have it right, then I'll just retake the image. And
Could you just use autofocus and that stuff on a camera, or would they totally be able to tell?
No, I mean, you can, it doesn't say that you can't use autofocus. I was planning to use autofocus,
But
but
autofocus doesn't do all the lighting stuff?
mm-mm.
Okay, so there's no way you could, because it's, I just wondered, how would they know if you were using that or not? But it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay. Do you always use autofocus?
I usually do unless I'm doing a close-up of something, then I'll
Okay,
use manual focus. So
okay. From
just
the times that I've tried photography, like I've never used the manual focus because it was just so like just slightly, oh no, 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 too far. Like you could never get it quite right, you know?
yeah,
And then it would be blurry, or no, that was the shutter speed. Yeah, that was hard to mess with too. Like doing something in dark lighting with a
yeah.
slower shutter speed. I don't know. You probably are supposed to do them on tripods. Is that how that works?
If you're gonna drag your shutter speed to be like a lot slower, so to get a blurred effect, or you're in low lighting, you definitely want to be on a tripod. So
Okay. Yeah, that would have helped. Anyway,
I
you
mean,
questioned me.
just to stabilize the image from getting
Yeah,
being handheld and stuff. You didn't
yeah,
realize how much you actually kind of like those little micro movements and
yeah.
how it'll shake the camera. Like
Mm-hmm.
even for the setup, I have like a trigger, so like hooked up to my camera, so I'm not actually touching the shutter on the camera. Like I don't want to touch
Oh.
my camera once I have everything set up.
Oh, is that why a lot of photographers do that?
They do like not all the time, but if you really want to be careful not to move your camera,
Okay,
yeah,
that
it's
makes
probably best
sense.
to use that.
I
Like if
feel like every photographer I can think of in one of the stage settings has had the little button thing. And I always wondered about it because I'm like, you're right there. I didn't get it. But that makes
so
sense.
there might be reasons why they have that, because if you're working like with a family and you want to keep them at ease or just keep them engaged with you, and you don't always want them maybe looking at the camera, you can like step away from your camera and just talk to them and like make a
Okay.
joke, and maybe they all like naturally laugh and
Hmm.
smile, and then you can take your picture. And then there's other times when you're in a low light situation or taking a beautiful landscape and you want to, bracket different images. So there's different lighting exposures and you don't want to move your camera to create it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's HDR image and you like blend them all together.
Oh,
If you have anything change, shift the angle of the image,
oh,
it'll be
okay.
anything.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to sound like I was dumping on photographers for using that. I'm worried it
No,
did.
there's all kinds of reasons why you can use it. I mean, even like if I do a self-portrait on me,
Well,
like
yeah,
I can use my remote. So
yeah. Have you done pictures like that with families where you have to be like, hey, look over here? Do you
I
know?
mean, I haven't really done too many family portraits.
Or like a
I
subject?
mean, like I usually bring my finger out and it's like, look at my finger. So because I don't have my, I mean, everything for me, I guess it happens faster because
Okay.
I'm not, I don't usually bring my tripod with me on those kind of shoots. Probably should, but I don't, because we're taking a walkabout, we're walking around, we're looking at different things,
Oh,
and
yeah.
just to set up a tripod if I was in a studio setting, for sure,
Yeah.
yeah, that might be something. Or if it's like something really significant, like a bridal portrait or something like that, I would use it.
Oh, yeah. If you were having like a whole bunch of people come back to the same place
Yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that makes
Something where
sense.
it's more a staged thing. But for me, if I'm just walking around, it's like, hey. So, I don't know if that's right or wrong. I just try to make sure.
It's wrong. I've looked into it. It's wrong.
Totally
Just
wrong,
kidding.
Jenny. Really? I mean, so long as you set your shutter speed to the right, yeah, parameters, your focal length.
I always wanted to be like really good at photography. Photographers just seem so cool. Like, what's the most dangerous job in the world? Combat photographer. You know, and there's like the wildlife photographers. I've seen some shots of guys that have animals just climbing over them because they're trying to just be in the background. And it looks so cool. I don't quite have the patience for it though. But yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because like we watched another documentary called Magnetic.
Oh, really?
It's, I don't know if you've ever heard of Magnetic, and it was on Netflix.
No.
To like give props to Netflix for dishing out really good documentaries. But it's just about, you know, just different sports and these athletes around the world, what they do. It's just like extreme, like whatever they do. And anywho, but I noticed like every single athlete was a male. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I was just sensitive to that. I'm being oversensitive, clearly.
Huh.
But like, I was like, why is every single athlete on this like a male? So, but then as the credits ran, Jerry was like, well, look, that videographer is a female. So if they can like keep up with all of them doing all this stuff to get these images and these takes, I'm like, you're right. Right on the nose, Jerry. So.
Okay. Maybe that's true, because, yeah. It would be cool if there were women, though. I'm sorry, I got hung up on that. I'm trying to be positive.
Yeah. I wish they had like at least a little more variety. Dude, there's these two guys in France, and they do like these just stunts with their bicycles. This one guy, like he does all these crazy stunts on his bicycle.
Like BMX tricks, like jumps and
like
stuff?
he's like, they're up in the mountains in France just hanging out and like doing stunts off of roofs and on the edges of ledges.
Oh my gosh. What?
I said the edges of ledges.
Oh.
Anyways, I sound so silly.
In the edges.
It's not easy. I'm being cheesy.
Off the ledges. The edges and the hedges. With the wedges. With the sledges. Oh, with the dredges. I'm vacuuming. It's my dredge.
I can't think.
Sorry. I made it weird. Sorry.
Okay, I killed it. Totally killed that one. Stop.
No. Sorry, I don't know what I'm blocking it from. Sorry.
Arms didn't know what to do. They were like, wait.
Because I was like,
hold on to something.
I was thinking turn away, but then I thought block the microphone, but then I didn't know where it was. I don't know. And then I thought, no, but my germs. I don't know. I never know what to do with my arms. I don't know. Anyway.
You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. You're awesome too. Talking about something interesting, weren't you? Oh, the guys on the bikes.
Yeah. So the magnetic, I think that's the name of the documentary. Anyways, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad just because they don't have a female on it. I mean, it's good. But it's just, something I noticed. But it was very interesting as well.
Did you watch, or have you found the Darren Brown special that I told you about?
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
Or it is in my book. I do have it here.
I'm so excited to know what you think about it.
Okay, yeah. Sacrifice, Netflix's Sacrifice. Yep.
Yeah. I'm so excited to know what you think about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to you about it like I talked to you about Reality Bites for like years.
Oh, yeah.
So you watch it.
That was such a, yeah.
You're like, oh, you're
I
special.
remember it.
You do? I totally ruined it for you, though, I'm sure.
No, I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still.
I haven't watched it in a
keep
long time.
inhaling.
God, Ben Stiller was crazy young. Same with Ethan Hawke.
Right?
It's
I
so
remember.
weird to see these actors and actresses, and it's like, wow, they're really young. Like, are we that old now? I'm not saying they're like
Maybe.
ancient, but like, it's just like, wow.
They seem at the time that I saw that movie, they didn't seem like crazy young, you know. They seemed like older than me, you
Yeah.
know, and like grown-ups. But now, yeah, when I see, especially I think Ben Stiller in that, they just look
30
so
years ago.
30, the 90s.
Well, maybe later, maybe like 25.
No, yeah, I mean it's not that far off though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we've been here a couple decades. But then I listened to like Joe Rogan talk about himself, like he's super old, but he's in his late 50s. So it's like, okay. They talk about
Really?
yeah, I think he was born in 60 something. 67? So that would make him like 53.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jerry's 67. I mean,
Jerry?
like 1967.
Oh, I thought you meant he was 67 years old, and I was just like processing.
Like, wait a second, time out.
Okay.
No, 1967.
Okay.
You're like, oh, good Lord.
I was like, be open-minded. I have concerns. I'd be open-minded. 1967. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So, like.
Yeah, because who else? The chef, Ramsay? Chef Ramsay? He's about that age. I think he's 1967-ish.
I like to think about the things that they would remember from like the world that I didn't get to experience. Like, wasn't Jimi Hendrix maybe still alive? I don't know. Or like different Star Wars coming out for the first time. My uncle told me about when he got to go see that, and he was like, "Dude, it was the coolest thing," because no one had any idea what was going to happen. They hadn't seen anything before, and then when they revealed Vader was the father in the next movie, they were like, "What?"
Like, what do we have? We have Twilight.
We do not have
Twilight.
You love Twilight?
I'm all like, don't judge.
I'm not going to judge it. I thought that you were throwing it under the bus, and I was just like, shove it along with you.
Like, I mean, no, I did read the series by Stephanie Meyer, and then I saw the movies, and I'm like, hey, yeah, it was just one of those phases, whatever. So, but yeah, it's not exciting like Star Wars. Oh my God, somebody's gonna be like, I can't believe you said that. You just compared Twilight and Star Wars.
It's their opinion, you know. Like
Lord of the Rings. Maybe that's more on the level. I forgot that came out
in the early 2000s, late 90s. Yeah, that was a good one.
That would be but as far as like an original script,
those are so hard to come by now. I feel like everything is mostly just being remade. Like the remake of the Ghostbusters with women, which I liked, but it was the Ghostbusters again. And they've remade Robin Hood like 50 times.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just
I want to say like it wasn't a movie, it was a series. It was Game of Thrones, man.
Like, you watched the Game of Thrones?
I watched Game of Thrones. That stuff is like, ooh.
I've tried to watch it because I've heard it's really, really good. But I keep running into, no, absolutely not. It's too upsetting and too violent for me. But
it's very violent. Like, I think the first 2 episodes, I was like, absolutely not. I cannot do this. But my brother was like, I think who read the series, was like, you just got to keep going. It gets really good. And I did. And there are scenes that, so what ended up happening is Jerry would actually pre-screen it. And then he would know when the parts that would upset me come up, and he would just say, okay, look away, or, we're going to mute it and just look away kind of thing. Because there are really upsetting parts.
Okay. Because, yeah, that would be awesome if Eric would do that, because there are some movies and like shows like that, particularly Game of Thrones, I keep hearing it's so good, it's worth getting past the other stuff, you should totally try it, but it upsets me in like this visceral way that is just like, I can't do it, but I hear it's really good, so I really want to.
Yeah there, and thank God Jerry like stepped in, because he knew how torn up I would get about some of the scenes, like, because they like imprint in your mind. Like it's one in the earlier seasons, I won't tell you, but it's very graphic and very upsetting, and I was pregnant at the time, so for those who know what I'm talking about, they know exactly what episode I'm talking about. So that was really upsetting. And so anywho, it's good though. It really is good. But it's it's like, this is terrible, but it's really good. It really is.
They're putting babies on spikes. It's really good. They're just eating them like chiclets. Oh my God. But it's really good.
But it's really,
should seriously watch it. Like, it's gonna ruin you forever. Like, really ruin. But it's so good.
good.
It's like being lactose intolerant and eating the ice cream anyway. Like, it's just so good. Oh man, like, yeah, I can only imagine where that scene was going, and I can think of like some of the most upsetting scenes of like The Sopranos.
I never watched that.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
That was like 90s, right?
Yeah, 90s, like, oh my gosh, James Gandolfini. Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
I like him a lot, yeah.
I didn't know you watched that.
Yeah, I did. I didn't watch the last season, because I think they had 6 seasons. I watched through season 5. And I don't think they meant to come back for the 6th season. So like it was kind of a thrown together, didn't quite fit. And I've heard that the ending was just terrible. And I'm pretty sure that James Gandolfini died during the shooting, so it was kind of incomplete.
Oh, he died?
So, yeah, that's what I said when I found out too. He died like a while ago, yeah.
What?
I know, I feel like I hadn't heard about it.
That makes sense. I haven't seen the guy in a while.
Yeah, it was so funny. It's like the same thing I did. I was like, oh my God, he died. And then I went back and I was like, oh yeah, he hasn't done stuff. And I guess that's why, yeah. But yeah, I don't want to see the 6th season. So whenever it comes up, I just change the subject quickly because I don't want to accidentally hear it. And I've avoided it successfully for like the better part of a decade going on too. So
wow.
People might really want to ruin it for me now that I've said that. That's okay.
That's all right.
I don't like the ends of things. Like, we just watched the series The Good Place. It's on Netflix too.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And we got it's the final season and it's the wrap up. And we got finished with the second to last episode. And the last episode, like from the title, you can tell it's just going to be sentimental, emotional, and very trippy and sad. And so I'm just never going to watch it. And so now it ends on a happy note forever and ever because I didn't watch it.
There you go.
It works, right?
Yeah. If that's the kind of closure that you want as a user or whatever, as a consumer, yeah, you have
total control of that.
Nah, but I don't know how you've been able to avoid all the spoilers.
I'm just never on social media, and I don't watch any news or TV that I don't specifically look for. Like, yeah.
That's good.
how I avoid it. And then the people that I know and spend time with are more kind of anti, like, mainstream homeschooly. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to put it, like, briefly. But they tend away from the mainstream, like, onslaught of media, everything too. So I think they manage to avoid a lot of spoilers that way also.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I might be missing out on stuff a lot of times. But I just
You're not missing out on much. I mean, tell you honestly.
do you Twitter? Do you do that? Or
I
do you
used to. Remember, like I went down that Agartha rabbit hole.
Oh, that was on Twitter. Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I need to get off this thing. So like, it's one of those. I like the fact that they have it on phones now, where it gives you like, how much time have you spent on these apps?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, really? So, anywho, so I ended up deleting it after that because I was like, this is crazy. This is out of control. Like, I need to step away.
Maybe the answer is just you need more Twitter, just all the time. Maybe if we just push through the Twitter awfulness, we come out on the other side better people. It's like the worst way to, it's just, you can't have an actual conversation with people on Twitter, you know? You get like, what, 200 and something character limit? So you have to like chop up your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like I'm not on it anymore. So I don't know what the limit is. I know they expanded it, but
it's not a lot though. It's not like Facebook where you can just post college essays. I still have some of my college essays. Would you like for me to read them to you? Dude, not a lot of them. Like on the actual blue books. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I saved them.
Aww.
Because I love my school stuff.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's nice.
I wish I could just go to school for a living, you know, and like learn stuff and just talk to people. That's really what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But so far, I'm scared to talk to anybody but you.
You're so scared to what?
So far, I'm too scared to talk to anybody but you. Because
did you reach out to Mike and Margaret yet?
No, I don't have their. Can you get, not like right here, but could you text me their contact info?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Should I text?
I don't know where my phone is. It's probably a good thing.
You don't have to like tell me this moment, but yeah, you should send me.
No, I must tell you now.
Okay, go on with yourself then.
No, I don't have I don't know where my phone is. My watch buzzed, but I have no idea where my phone is. This happens to me.
Do you have an Apple
Nah,
Watch?
I got a Samsung.
Can you page your phone from your watch to figure out where it is?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
The hilarious part is that I really never wear my watch. I mean, anytime I'm out for a job, I actually just wear just a regular old-fashioned watch. And but like when, you know, I usually just use my watch to kind of make sure I'm sleeping enough.
Oh, you do the sleep tracker thingy?
Yeah.
Are you worried you're not sleeping enough?
Sorry, it was I don't know, I'd probably not enough. Yeah.
If you hear that you're not sleeping enough, what do you then do about it?
Well, I should like go to bed earlier, but I don't know.
Do you have issues with falling asleep ever?
I don't know. It's usually a matter of clearing my mind. I need to do more meditation, I think, and just to empty out my mind of things, or just journal and jot down stuff for tomorrow, so it's like out of my mind, so I can like finally relax. Because I find that if I read before bed, like I end up falling asleep while I'm reading. And so,
Is that good?
I mean, that's good, yeah, but sometimes like I don't know, like it's the quieting of the mind and not checking on stuff. So, deleting notifications, setting up my do not disturb, thing earlier. Yeah, but even though
do you how often do you meditate often?
I used to with one of my friends, Laura. She has.
Oh, you would meditate together?
Well, she does a class and with her mindfulmess.com website. You can check her out. They just moved back to the UK, but I know that she was doing Zoom meditation, classes a couple times a week, and she got her degree up in Massachusetts. I forgot the name of the college, but I mean, she's read up on all these things and done plenty of workshops and courses. I totally trust in her professionalism.
What's her name?
Laura.
Okay.
Stevens.
And it's Mindful Mess?
Mindfulmess.com. Yeah.
Cool.
She's excellent. I mean, she has that, nice, for Americans at least, that nice British soothing accent. So, but she's really cool. So, but she's, let's see. I was doing her classes twice a week for a couple months.
Does she give a guided meditation?
It's a guided meditation, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, it was really early in the morning, the first thing you do in the morning, and which was nice, instead of like waking up and it's just like, oh, rush downstairs, take care of the dog. It's more like a nice sort of like ease into the morning and just finding more awareness. Yeah.
Is it open to other people? Like if I wanted to take it, could I sign up?
She doesn't know, but you should definitely check out our website. So
yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I know I need to meditate. And it keeps popping up just everywhere too. Like meditating and breathing. Like just slowing down breathing.
Yeah.
And for some reason it's like the last thing I want to do. I don't know why, but I'm very resistant to it. I think it's because when I sit still, then the chatter really goes. There's a lot of chatter.
Yeah.
So I just don't, and then I get overwhelmed by it, and then I get panicky, and so I just avoid it. But a good guided meditation would definitely work. Like,
yeah, it's a guided meditation where, she, kind of walks you through the breathing exercises and just, just finding even the awareness of, how your legs feel on the chair that you're sitting on. Like, just, I don't know. It's so often you don't realize it, how tense your shoulders are. And she's like, she kind of walks you through your body and all these checkpoints, and it's just like, relax your shoulders. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, just minor, you're just, anyways, you should try it.
Yeah. It's so weird how just bringing your awareness to something makes things different.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that it's like, I don't quite buy it, even though I know it's true. It's like, really, just me being aware of stuff is going to make stuff better, which is a dumb thing to say. Like, especially when I say it out loud. It's like, really, opening my eyes is going to help me see better. Like, yes, of course it is. Never mind. I don't know why I'm so resistant to it, because I really want to be like a meditator. I think it's the way that like there's this sort of image, at least in my head, attached to meditation, like sort of the real yuppie, like rich people, but the more in like it became trendy to be a hippie kind of, And I feel like I've definitely known people who have worn all of the like right yoga clothes and said like yoga and meditation and Burning Man and all this stuff, and they've turned out to not be as authentic as I thought they were.
No, for sure. Like Laura's just like, I mean, she's just a regular person. You know, she's with a family. They definitely have a more kind of intentional lifestyle. Her family, like her son's my godson, and Jack is, Mark's godson. So her husband's godson. So like we've known each other for a long time, and but they're definitely very authentic as far as an intentional. They're just very honest, and I don't know. There's those people you meet who reflect on a lot of things, and they're just very aware. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but in a good way. It's like a lot of positive energy. Okay. So, and, they try to clear out any of the clutter from either their minds or in their home to actually focus on what's most valuable to them. And for them, it seems to be family. It seems to be community and their friends. So, which I appreciate. And that's the authenticity that I see with Laura.
I didn't think she was inauthentic. I didn't mean all of that to sound like an attack on her. Okay.
No. But she's, I mean, like, yeah, just as far as like, yeah, I know what you mean though.
Okay.
As far as suddenly everybody's a yoga instructor. No offense to yoga instructors. Yeah, we're not saying that. But anywho.
There are a couple bitches in yoga pants out there ruining it for all of you. Not really. Sorry.
Yoga's hard. Oh my God. It is hard. So like props to the yoga teachers out there, because that crap's hard.
And it gets crazy too. Like I took some very low level yoga classes, and we did a couple of like the acrobatic 2-person things, and it was so hard. And she was like, this is very basic and beginner. You're totally capable of it. It was like one person laid on their back with legs straight up in the air, and the other person was like arching the back so the feet were on the small of my back. It was so hard. Like I couldn't do it because of the core muscles that it takes to balance yourself up there. It was like very big props.
Wow.
It was.
I've seen stuff like that. As far as the coupling of yoga moves and stuff to do, the acrobatic kind of stuff. I don't know how they do it.
Have you seen the slackline stuff? It's like a tight.
Yes. I just started following somebody on Instagram. I forgot her name. Oh. Anyways, she's amazing. I don't know where she's from. I don't know where she's from. But anyways, if I had my phone, but I don't have my phone.
Is she known for being good at the slackline?
I guess so, because a lot of her feed, and I haven't gone through her whole Instagram account, but like since I started following her, like she does all kinds of cool stuff. I'm like, wow, like how do you do that?
Have you tried one of those before?
Have you?
Yeah, we have one. It's so much harder than it was.
Really? Where did this come from? Like, is this like a new thing?
I don't know. For me, I found it in the rock climbing community up in Washington. But then it seems like it's really kind of exploded. That was, I don't know, 10 years ago now? 8 years ago, probably. But it seems like it's everywhere now, because they had it like outside at Zoe's, one of the schools that she went to here.
Really?
Yeah. It's very cool. Like,
that is cool.
It's so hard though. Like Eric has very good balance because he rides a unicycle. Like he doesn't just ride it around the house all the time, but like he knows how, and he knows how to juggle while doing it. So good balance, good hand-eye coordination, and like he can walk on it, but it's still like whoa when he walks on it. Like it's hard. Just like the core strength, I think that you must have to keep that balance. Because all those little micro moves you have to make to not fall down. But
this girl, like she gets on the, what is it called? Slack rope?
Slack line?
A slack line, and
Yeah.
and she just, I mean, it's almost like you would think she was on a trampoline, and she does all these tricks, and I'm like, but it's just like a line, a slack line. I'm like, dude, that's amazing.
That's so
So,
crazy. That's
yeah.
so wild when they bounce on it like it's a trampoline. Like,
Yeah.
dude,
I'm like, whoa.
I have to
think
just
she's on the West Coast. I want to say she's on the West Coast, so that kind of makes sense.
all the cool people on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
No.
I wish I was on the West Coast, man.
I do miss it. Not to,
Dude.
hey, I do. Oh my gosh. It just, I miss the mountains. I miss more than anything living on the ocean. Like it still makes me a little, I would cry about it too if I think about it too hard, but there's something so different about seeing the ocean every day. I don't know. It gave me a sense, I think, of there's something bigger than me out there kind of all the time.
Yeah.
And the almost connectivity with like the waves and the tide. You just really sort of feel more of the pulse of the earth there, you know?
Yeah.
And like just to move away from it, it just feels, I don't know.
Landlocked.
Yeah. And people are like, go swim in the lake. It's the same. Like, well, yeah, like we've been swimming in Lake Travis and stuff and like to Barton Springs, but it's so cool when you can't see the other side. It's just like, it just goes forever. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
And like I could hear sea lions every morning in my apartment barking when I wake up.
Wow.
Stuff like that. I miss
That's
it, yeah.
neat.
And the weather. Oh, the weather was so nice too. It
Yeah.
never gets as hot as it gets here. Or
Yeah.
even in Virginia, probably.
I mean, like, yeah, because we're like, well, where we are in Smithfield, we're up the river a little bit. So, I mean, there's like the northern and southern peninsula of Virginia that moves into North Carolina, you know. So we're not there. There's just water everywhere. Being a peninsula, we're not on the peninsula. We're on the mainland. But I mean, where we used to live, anyways. But there's water just everywhere, and in fact, we're only like, I think 5-6 houses down from, what is this, James River? I have no idea. Isn't that terrible?
Like, I didn't know what county I lived in Washington for the first 2 years. I was like, I don't know. Sounds terrible.
I was like, I'm clearly not good at geography. I'm going to guess it's either the James or Elizabeth River. I don't know.
How many rivers do you have?
Huh?
How many rivers do you have going around you? Okay, never mind. Sorry.
I wasn't raised in Virginia. However, if my son was here, he'd be like, I can tell you. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kids are getting smarter than us.
I know. You remember all your Texas history?
No. Do you? I remember there was a battle at the Alamo. And I remember the General Santa Anna was a general in the Mexican army. Davy Crockett. Jim Bowie. Do you not have anything? Six Flags?
Was not my forte. It was not.
I like
really,
history.
Any academic was my forte. Let's just say that.
That what?
I just got by.
That's what.
It's so funny because as an adult, like, I love to learn. But back then, like, I could care less.
It wasn't like at the time, at least for a lot of my classroom experiences, it wasn't really designed to learn stuff. It was more designed to, this is what you learn so you can pass the test, you know? But didn't you have, like, somewhere along the line, like, a teacher who was really into what they were doing? And so then it made the class kind of, like, engaging and fun. Like, I had a history teacher. No, political science. That was it. And he was known for being like the hardest teacher in the school, but he was so engaging and interesting to listen to that it became fun, even though I didn't think I would love it. I did, you know?
Yeah.
Did you have any teachers
I
like that?
I did. It was my anatomy teacher, and God, I don't remember her name.
Oh.
I remember her talking about like even different lotions and how it affects your skin, and like, make sure to look for this ingredient on the back of your bottle as you age, because this is what's going to help reduce wrinkles. This is how your anatomy works. And then like one day, I think she even brought in roadkill. Whether or not it was roadkill is suspect, But
Was it a dead animal?
I think so.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
I mean, obviously it was dead for sure. It's like, here's a raccoon.
Why did she bring that to class?
It's anatomy. I don't know. She was interesting. She was different.
When you say anatomy, I assume you mean like human anatomy, and I thought you were learning like body parts and like.
Well, yeah, that too. But I mean, that's when you get to dissect the frog and all that stuff. And
Okay.
did you ever dissect a frog or a squid?
I dissected a perch and an earthworm. I dissected a shark. I don't think maybe I did a frog. I might have done a frog. Yeah. It was like that big. And I remember that day because there were like one at each lab table and everybody dissected their sharks. And one of them had a shark that had a bunch of baby sharks inside of it. I know. It made me very sad. It was really.
It makes me really sad.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to make you sad.
No. I mean, it's science. It's for learning purposes, but that is kind of sad.
It is. The way I remember it was like, that is amazing, because it was the context of learning, and the teacher had been like, this is so cool, guys. Think about how cool this is. And, so for us, I'm sorry.
No. You're fine. I actually loved anatomy. Anatomy was like one of my favorite classes back then. So
very cool.
Because I thought it was really cool just to look at all these things, and then you got to draw out your bone and meat. It's like, what? We get to draw in this class and learn? Yes! So I'm on this. So I think that's why I liked it.
See, I hated it when drawing came up because I'm so bad at it. Like, what is it that makes you good at drawing? Like there's something about like you are seeing, I don't know, because I see the thing and I see like, okay, lines should probably go about here, but then I start drawing it and I'm like, nope, this isn't the right thing at all. It's just like there's a disconnect between the mental image, like in my brain, and this. I don't know. I don't
think there's some artists are very, very good at rendering like real life things, and others it's just like, I mean, cartoonists or illustrators, as I should say, are very good at just creating like where it's supposed to be somebody or something, like a toaster. I don't know, but it doesn't look like a toaster. I don't know. You know what I mean? Not really. I'm not
like are you speaking abstract artists?
Yeah, I mean, like it's a person's interpretation.
Yeah,
the artist's interpretation of what they're seeing. You don't actually have to render it exactly, and unless it's like anatomy, like, dude, do not tell me that is a femur. That is not a femur. You just made a French fry. Come on.
So. It might be a femur.
This is a femur. It's a French fry. Stop.
So it's more like that. I think I just can't visualize stuff. That's what it is. But then I still couldn't draw like the piano, just like the piano looks either. I really lack that visualization component in my imagination.
Yeah. But like you can, and I know we talked about this, I think before, it's just like the way you can understand music and sound, like I can't even dream of even being able to sit down, hear music, and then like pound out chords and combinations to like recreate that sound that you just heard, and you're like playing it and then filling it in with whatever other notes. I don't know. Like it's amazing what you can do. Like I think everybody has like some superpower. So
Yeah, like, dude, they're the people, I think I've talked about this before too, but it was people that got looked down on like they were stupid a lot, like that worked in the engine rooms on boats. I see them on the Deadliest Catch show, the engineers on the boats all the time. And it's definitely like people who I think overall could be looked at as like lower class or not so intelligent. And that's why, you know, you're doing manual labor. These are a lot of things that I learned. I feel like I'm saying terrible things, but like that I learned from my family. Makes them sound awful, but it comes from that generation of like, we want you to get an education so you can work at any job in the world and not have to go break your body this way. And then that led to, well, if people go and break their body this way, then it was because they couldn't succeed in college, so they're not as smart, which is a terrible assumption for anyone to make. But if that's kind of the perspective I got from them. At any rate, and that's how they talk about people at the shipyard too. Like if you work in the office, you're white collar, and everyone knows, or like the difference between officers and enlisted. That's where it comes from too. Anyway, but they will like have something break down at sea, and it's like this little teeny tiny like fuel line, and it's got a crack through it. And for me, I would just be like, do you have a replacement? They don't have a replacement? Well, then I guess the boat's gonna sink, because it's just this atrocity of stuff. And but they go in every time and they like manufacture and MacGyver up a little solution. And they always patch it up, like no matter how bad it is. Like they find these amazing solutions just using the bits and pieces of stuff they have floating around the boat that all looks like junk to me. And then they fix it and they just truck along their merry way. Like 5 seconds ago, they were going to be dead in the water and drown and die out at sea. But then he got like the wedge and hammered it in and like stuck the duct tape up to the thing, and now we're good. Like, I don't know how they do that. It's so amazing. And I think that's its own kind of brilliance, you know?
Yeah. I totally understand. What was Jerry has a t-shirt from his Navy days, and it says naval officers making like easy shit hard. So, or something like that, making shit hard. Like, I don't know, something.
Making easy shit look hard?
Something or no. I'm saying it wrong. Dang it. I'll have to.
Stupid.
Come on. Making, it's like something like making simple shit hard.
Now I'm trying to figure it out too.
Officers, like they overthink, overcalculate. I don't know, and it's
overcomplicate stuff.
Overcomplicate things. Yeah. So, not to say that officers aren't smart. Jeez, why are we so apologetic? Let's just say it.
I thought about that the other day. I was like, I'm always apologizing for my point of view, and I'm just constantly seeing everyone's perspective and trying to so I don't offend anybody. But it's like, I have an opinion, not trying to dump on anyone ever. I mean it with great love. And from my experience, the officers, we called them dildos for reasons, you know? Like those nicknames didn't come from nowhere. Anyway.
I'm like, wait a second, my parents were officers. You calling my mom a dildo?
When you say it like that.
Mom, she called you a dildo. Explicit. Yes.
It came from the direct input limited duty officer. That's what it was. So it wasn't all of the officers. So not your mom. So now you don't have to tell her.
Scratch that, Mom. Psych.
Oh God. Now is the time I've chosen not to start apologizing again after I called officers dildo.
Oh God.
Anyway, it came from the acronym. Because
Yeah.
that was what they were called. Direct Input Limited Duty Officers, as it's spelled. Dildo.
My kids still like get a good laugh because on the submarines, those suits that they wear, like Jerry, they call them poopy suits.
Yeah, because of the name.
Yeah, so they're like, haha, it's called a poopy suit. What do you do? Poop. You know, kids.
Yes.
So
you rub poop on it.
Some poop here.
Poop there. We had to cut up like the poop tank from the Parchie one time, that submarine. And we looked in it and it was still covered with brown stuff and they were supposed to hose it all out. And so we told our boss, the Parchie it was a submarine.
Yeah.
Submarine from the Cold War. It got decommissioned and then we were cutting it up to recycle it. And so I was working on the crew of people to cut it with the blowtorch. So we got down to the part of the boat that was the shit tank where it holds all the poop and stuff. And they're supposed to have a crew of people. Their whole job is cleaning the tanks. So they should have done that before the welders got there. And then we got there and looked in and there's still this brown goo all over everything. So we all decided we're not going in there. Well, it had been on active duty and like used by other people. If the poop hadn't been there that long. There would be some amazing historic poop.
I'm sorry, it's just, as a civilian, that was just very confusing to me. Sorry.
It's okay. That's awesome. Oh, that would be amazing. They did have oh no, that's a whole other thing. And then I'll get derailed. But there's the poop that is current poop at the time. And it wasn't supposed to be there. So I went and we told our boss, hey boss, his name was Corey, there's still a bunch of stuff in there. And he looked at it and he said, it's only mud. And to which I was like, why would there be mud in this tank of a boat that's been floating around the ocean? Why would they have mud in it? No, I won't go in. So then he decided to climb in himself, and he did, and he poked around and came back out with just these smears of like brown all over him. And he went, it's only mud. And then we made some other guy go in there and do it.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, that was a time when I said, I'm not gonna do that. Like, no, I'd have to get shots. Because if you fall in the Puget Sound, I don't know how it is at other places, but over at the shipyard, if you fall in the water, you automatically go to sick bay and you get all these shots because it contracts who knows what. Okay. Yeah. But then it's like you can't really know exactly what's in there because the government has strict control of it and they won't allow any outside people to come in and test the water. And then they have
right over the bridge we have Newport News Shipyard.
Oh yeah, you guys have massive shipyards.
Yeah, we have the Newport News Shipyard, and then we have down in Norfolk. Yeah, I mean, like, well, that's the international, like, that's where all those big boats come in with all the things, those big boxes. I don't know what you call it, containers.
Oh, the barge, the shipping containers?
Yeah, huge, massive barges. And, but yeah, but we have the shipyard out here. I mean, I think there's one in Portsmouth, one in Newport News. And Norfolk has the international, like, whatever you call it, station where carriers barges come in with blah 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 stuff.
Yeah, but they have a naval base in Norfolk.
Yeah.
Also. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in the Newport News, like off the same river that we're from, live just right up the road from Newport News Shipyard, just across the river. Like, who knows what's in that water?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aliens?
Aliens.
Maybe. The guy that wrote The Simpsons was a Navy nuke, and there was the fish with the 3 eyes in the water, I wonder if there are things like that. I want there to be things like that.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe that would be bad for everybody if we had mutated fish. I take it back. I don't want the mutated fish. I just want for there to be exciting things happening.
I'm sure there are deep down in the depths of the ocean, or even in rivers. I'm sure there's stuff going on.
I hope so. There are like super weird things that evolve, or that like the bioluminescent things that they evolve to have that because they've been in the dark so long. And it's like that rainbow light up stuff. How do they do that? It's so cool.
That is
I feel like I want it to be more exciting all the time. And I think that's because I joined the Navy. I don't know. It's like I got to do so many exciting things that the bar for adventure is really high.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult in COVID times to create adventure,
Yeah.
Maybe talking to strangers will be my adventure. It makes me so uncomfortable.
Gotta get out of your box. Yeah, just go on out there. Say, hey.
What's up?
And aren't there like people like who have shows who do that, and they're taking a walk and they sit down on a park bench and start talking to somebody?
Probably. I mean, I don't watch a lot of stuff. Well, like Zoe has people, they'll go and explore stuff, but then it's usually just the two of them talking to each other. I don't know. But I mean, I'm sure that's a thing. I worry all the time that I'm bothering people and that they won't tell me I'm bothering them and that I will leave and they will plot against me for the rest of my life because I annoy them. It's crazy when I say it out loud, but that's really the bulk of the anxiety, what's behind it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I can help at least walk you through this part, at least, and my contribution to your show each week, if that helps. Yay!
It does. It helps a lot because it gets me back into the practice of getting outside myself and here. But it's like, you're a safe zone because I know you already.
Yeah.
And it also gets me in the habit of doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're totally, we really have to make our own job. This is really it. It's what I wanted to happen. I just didn't ever expect it to happen like this.
Yeah.
Good. Anyway.
So how do I find this? Is it on podcast?
It's on YouTube. I put it up on YouTube under the Buddha Owen Project.
Okay.
It has no views because I just don't advertise it because I don't want to get on social media. So it's this whole thing. Zoe is relatively adept at it because she's got her little TikTok thing and she has her whole following. So she knows how to post really easily. I mean posting without it being a whole thing. I'll start to post something and then I run into a technical issue and then I get frustrated and then I yell at the phone and then it's non-productive. But I've thought about asking her to do it. To post.
I mean, I don't know the world of vlogging. Is this what you call vlogging? I have no idea, obviously.
Some people call it that, but I don't know what the difference is between a video blog or video log and
I have no idea.
Joe Rogan, he's the only other person I watch consistently on YouTube, and he just talks to people and then puts up the name of the person he's talking to.
Yeah, because I wonder, I don't know. I'm sure there's a way you don't have to start up like your own social media accounts. Like surely you're able to share this onto other platforms like whatever, Apple iPod or iPod whatever, or Stitcher is what I use.
Oh.
And,
Do you upload stuff on Stitcher?
no, I don't upload stuff, but where I get all my podcasts. But I mean,
Okay.
it's just kind of like, what is it, Heart Radio, and there's some
Oh
other
my
ones out
gosh,
there.
there's so many.
There's a lot, but
Oh,
I feel like, just start somewhere.
yeah.
I'm sure there's, I don't know, some magical thing that'll get your thing and post it to all those whatever platforms. And
That'd be cool. I had found a thing at one point called If This Then That. Have you heard of that? It was supposed to, it might still work, I just haven't looked at it in a while, but it was supposed to connect like all your social media so that if you posted on one thing, it would automatically post it on all the others.
oh,
But I had a very, and I'm so bad at the technical stuff. It's probably way easier, and it's been a while since I looked at it, but you had to go in and like set up each account with each other. And it wasn't like you just put in, I have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, share them all at once. You had to do each individual step. Like if I post on Twitter, I want you to automatically post it on these things. And then you would have to go over, if I post on Instagram, I want it to automatically, and then type in the account and the password. It was just kind of tedious.
yeah.
And then when I went and I did it and then I tested it, it didn't work right. So I got frustrated.
Yeah.
I probably did something wrong, but it wasn't very user-friendly for me. So I abandoned it. But it would be cool if that works really well now and if they perfected it. Because the idea would be really nice to not log on to every other social thingy.
I definitely think there's like a push feature for you to be able to do that, but it might require you to kind of set up everything. I don't know how it goes with YouTube pushing off to whatever. And so
No idea.
your daughter's going to be like the expert for this. I'm going to be like, Kate, I need to know, like, how do I do this?
Dude, that would be awesome if she was, because the way that the world is developing, she'll know what she's doing and how to navigate it.
She'll be like a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
At the age of like, something. I mean, the fact that she's already doing all these things, and by the time she's whatever 18, she'll already have like a career going with years of experience doing social media and streaming. That's amazing.
It's very, I think it is too, right?
That's
like, I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
It's like it's very cool.
Yeah.
She's a cool young lady. She's very, she's a lot like me, but I think she's way better because she's like the oldest and she was the only child for a long time. And so she's got that headstrong leader kind of thing that I don't have, or that I think I have. I just don't use it or like to use it anyway. But yeah, she's got like the groundwork to do something very cool.
Yeah.
It's just what is she working on now? She's been drawing a lot too lately. Like she's so into anime, and she started off just like tracing things, but then now she started freehand drawing, and it's really good.
That's awesome.
She's like, she's way into the arts and stuff. So I'm very glad that we're non-traditional schooling her. Anyway.
Anyways, I want to get into that.
Because then I'm gonna get all apologetic for like my point of view again, and because I'm so worried about offending people. Like maybe that's something I need to think about and meditate on. Is like how to share my perspective of the world without it sounding combative in any way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I absolutely know what you mean. So.
But then how else do you like explain phony people in expensive yoga pants pretending to be gurus, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's still a real thing.
I don't know. I think there's just a lot out there. A lot out there, and I don't know. What I noticed in this last week is how much, like, I've noticed people, even my daughter Jada, she was like, everything's so absolute now. There's no gray area. It's like you can't think this way. You know, it's either you believe this or you believe that. So, in Jada's example, um, I had recently seen my brother, went out to Kentucky to go visit, and they have this beautiful little orange cat, and they call it Mimi, call her Mimi. No, and you know, we have a cat named Milkshake. And she's like, I love Milkshake. And I was like, I love Milkshake too. And you know, you would really love Mimi too. And she's like, no, Mom, just Milkshake. Milkshake's the best. It's like I I believe Milkshake's the best too, but like this orange cat that Uncle Mike and Aunt Margaret have is really cute. She's like, no Milkshake. So it's just like that feeling of absolute loyalty to this cat, and it's like, and I feel like in today's society, at least, there seems to be that extreme, like, I don't want to get into politics, but like a lot of it's based out of that and just what's going on culturally, cultural events here in America, especially in the election year. It's just like, whoa, guys.
I know. Like, there's
It's
so
hard not
few
to.
things. Yeah. And so few things in the world, like, are absolute. Like, most things exist in that state of gray. Because we've had the talk with Zoe about how, like, look, you know, you see bad guys in the movies and good guys, and they make it really clear, but then you're only getting part of the story. Like, if you heard the whole story, you would see what's behind the bad guy's behavior, and maybe they're not, you know, maybe we're not getting the whole picture. Like, but the two-party system, it feels like, is really set up for people to be opposed to each other. Like, you have to either be a Democrat or a Republican. And I'm like, I don't really align with either of those at all. Like, there are some things people might consider democratic about what I think, and others might be more conservative and Republican. But I like, just to have it so that this party versus this party, and screw the Democrats, no, screw the Republicans. It just seems silly. It would be like having your offense and your defense on a football team just fight with each other all the time, versus working together. Like, oh, you have different skill sets you bring to the table. You'll work really well here. I don't know. We could so do it. We've got like great people. Just, everyone is like picking sides.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's just like there's a lot of people that I love and care about, you know, friends and family, and I just feel like, yeah, you really got to be careful what you put out there, what you say, because it could trigger somebody, and you know, it's like, I don't want to censor you, but I also don't want to be censored either. So how do I go about expressing my opinions or what I'm passionate about without, you know, and it's happened on either side. So, yeah, a couple times this year from family and friends, I felt like I've unintentionally, like, offended somebody. It's like, or triggered them in a way that's.
I hate that word so much.
And I'm like, I don't know what's a better word.
No, to piss them off. I don't know. I hear Zoe say it all the time, and like, for my context, I've known that word for like since I started therapy, because it was in the context of this might trigger that panic attack. Like,
okay.
And it was more of a, like, triggering for me meant like I need to be medicated. Like, it's a real.
Okay.
So, and then for people to be like, I'm just so triggered when they're mad about something. Like, I get what they're meaning, but I don't know.
What's a better way for me to say it? Like, something that's highly sensitive to somebody, and I don't know. I
would just say offended.
offended.
Because I feel like when I think that's what bugs me about it, is when people say triggered when they're offended by a disagreement in their beliefs, or like something that challenges their beliefs, that's a really different thing from triggering a mental state where you think you have to flee or you're going to die, you know?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was not.
No,
It's
but that's
not
a good
you.
Yeah.
It's the way that I hear that word everywhere all the time. And I'm just like, what has happened with this word that used to be a very specific? Yeah, it feels like people are making things, and I know you didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
It was just an opportunity to say that word is everywhere. Why?
I'm glad you said it though. Like I had no idea that relates to, yeah, I had no idea. So I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, or like post-traumatic stress, you know, like triggering for, you know, someone who's been to Vietnam. It just, to me, it felt like, whoa, like you say, not you, but like Zoe saying that about her friend not wanting to play Fortnite right now triggered her is a little like, is it really that extreme? You know?
Yeah. Okay, I see the distinction. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No. I mean, like, and I mean, that's kind of like what I'm saying. It's just like, I feel like this exchange that we just had is exactly what I feel like society needs to be doing. Like, hey, when you say this, this is how it makes me feel, and this is why. And it's me acknowledging, and I just don't see that very much anymore. And I mean, like even me, like I can close down, and I'm like, I don't. It's too much. It's too overwhelming. You know, let me take a break. I'll revisit this later. But it's you know, so I'm just as guilty for not practicing that, because it gets overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, it does. And it's so weird. And this is where I start looking at everyone's perspective. It's like I get why everyone's saying triggered, because it's like other words that suddenly appear in the, you know, lexicon. Like, I don't know, Uber, before the Uber car, but Uber just kind of showed up one day, and now like it's an actual car company. And so it's like I get it, but then it also makes me stop and think about things before I say them, you know, when it just pops up into the world. So I guess that's good. But yes, the exchange thing, like when you are able to talk about it, it like diffuses things so immediately. And most of the time, things are based on a miscommunication, you know?
Yeah.
Or they're based on just like a lack of understanding.
Yeah.
And I feel like if people just talked about it and said, yeah, oh, hey, I did that thing that you said, this is how I experienced it. This is, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish that we all did that all the time. And that's the thing I want to make in the world.
Yeah, me too. And again, I'm not always great at it. Like I will be the first to say, it's like sometimes I put shit out there, and stuff out there. Sorry, Mom. And then, you know, I need to be ready for any kind of feedback. And sometimes I'm so bad with confrontation, I just stick my head in the sand and let it blow over. But it's just like, no, I really need to confront this. And why is this person upset? And, you know, so I'm not always good at that.
Yeah, so. I don't like confrontation at all. Because, yeah, I just don't, because when people are upset and yelling at me, my tendency is to shut down and head in the sand, and then I don't solve anything.
That's exactly how I am. I get overwhelmed, and it's just like, wow, yeah. So, and it's not just one person. It's a lot of people. It's just, I mean, it's just kind of where we're at right now, you know, in this country. Like,
Oh my God. Sorry.
Right now, it's hard. And it's like, dude, why are we, why are we family? Why are we friends? And just remembering those kind of core values and common denominators that make us connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that about George Carlin, his thing, the little things that connect us, like that thing where when your pillow's here and you close this eye and it's down there, but you close this eye and now it's up here. Just the little things that make you human, because everyone goes through that. Or like going down the stairs when you think there's one more step, but there's not, and you just like that's, no matter where you come from, you can probably relate to that.
Yeah.
Love those things.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's where all the magic is, and like those moments.
Yeah.
That's what I love about music too, because like no matter who you are or where you're from, like if you hear an infectious tune, like you'll see people start to like nod their heads and like feel it and get into it.
Yeah.
It's something everybody understands.
Yeah.
Absolutely. To just remember that and sing Kumbaya together. That's the answer. Hello. I'm just kidding. I don't think that's the answer.
It's just gotten so complicated, but I feel like I wish there was an easy solution, but I think it's going to take a lot of hard work on everybody's part.
Yeah. It's going to have to be every single person changes how they do like all the parts of their lives, really.
Yeah.
Because it is so complicated, and like one decision that I make here about like what I buy at the store is affecting all these other things because this company is doing this thing that affects that. It's like I can't even wrap my head around everything going on anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God. The fact that you just said that, it's just like, boom, like just as the consumer buying it, just grabbing like a box of whatever and putting it in your cart, how many people that affects and how many communities that will affect. Oh my God.
It's so much.
It's so much. And
it's
you're right. I mean, like, this is part of like, the movement, and I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about being a vegan. Just, knowing where your food comes from, kind of thing, and the ethical process of how it got there. It's just like, geez.
It's so hard. Like if you say I'm vegan, to be truly vegan, like you have to just grow your food yourself, because even companies who have really great practices, like if a company makes crackers that say uses wheat in them, well, that means that they've cleared out a wheat field. And that means they've displaced hundreds of animals, definitely killed a lot of small animals in the plowing of the field. And it's like, so really, no matter what you do, it feels like you're messing something up. It's even like when I'm walking with a dog, like there are all these little like doodle bugs and there'll be snails. Like you have to be careful where you step or you're gonna squish a bug. And it starts to feel like if I want to not do any harm, I have to just never leave the house. But they're just running my air conditioner is doing harm, So it's like you have to draw the line somewhere and live your life.
Yeah.
But I get into the whole thing of like, who am I to like think that my life is more important than the snails? Or like, why is it okay for me to buy this while, maybe some child laborer is leading an unpleasant life and doing something that they hate?
Yeah.
It's just, if I did that all the time, I would never leave the house.
Oh my God. So where do you draw the line?
I don't know. I just try to do the best I can,
Yeah.
Like make the best choices that I can. I don't know, because it seems like when enough people shift their perspective and like make being ethical, like I think it'll shift the way that things work, but it's going to need to take like at least half, I don't know how many people it takes to get to that point. There's a whole book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. It's very good. It talked about that.
Hold on. Tipping.
It's very good. But it's oh, Malcolm Gladwell?
Gladwell?
Yes. The Tipping Point. I'm pretty sure it's where I learned about the 100 monkey rule. Do you know, have you heard about that?
Mm-mm.
Where like if you have like a species of monkeys and they're scattered around on different islands, like isolated from each other, but they're the same species of monkeys. If
Yeah.
a population of monkeys on one island starts using hand tools, but like only one or two monkeys have figured it out, they'll keep messing with it. But then once 100 monkeys have figured out how to use the tools, suddenly the entire population of monkeys will understand and they'll all start doing it. Even though the ones who originally started doing it were like isolated on their own island away from like these other ones. But there's something about when enough of them learn how to do something new, it like gets loaded into the sort of collective memory of the entire species.
Wow.
So the
So
hope,
you're saying those who are completely away from this, control group, they understand it too?
yeah,
Wow.
and that the book Tipping Point, it talks about that and like various things in like our human sphere that have tipped. Like it's been so long since I read it. It was really good. I want to say it was a company and they reached a certain level and they felt like app. I don't know. I'm just making it interesting now. But the 100 monkey thing was interesting and cool. And he applies it to the human thing. And it would be cool if we could get the 100 monkey thing going with humans and making ethical, thoughtful decisions. That's
Yeah.
where my line of thought was going with like us tipping.
Yeah.
I think many people are just like unaware.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to be busy and then consumed by the news and everything in your everyday life that like why would you be looking that far into what you're eating unless you have a health problem come up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. There's so much to process in that. There's so much to process. I'm gonna have to think about it later because
The tipping point thing?
no, just everything. Like, yeah, from what you eat and like how finding that balance to even how people finding that kind of awareness. Like where do you even start? It just seems like the task is so large. But I know there's like nonprofit groups and studies being done to help, you know, further humanity and to
Yeah.
be better. So I know those things are happening, but you just don't hear about them.
Yeah. They're like in the shadows, it seems. Because I
I
guess
know.
it's not like headline attention grabbing news. I think this is the only reason we don't hear about it.
It's because it doesn't fit the narrative of those in power. Just to
I mean, yeah, because then that's
sorry.
stuff that would unite us. And if we were united, we would make decisions together. But with the nation divided against itself, it's very easy for them. It reminds me of Braveheart, which is silly. But there's the scene when like Mel Gibson and the Scottish, they've just defeated the British Army like once. And then they're
Yeah.
talking with all the lords and stuff, and he's saying, now we need to decide on a king. Like, no, you don't get to be king. And all the Scottish guys are arguing, and Gibson starts to walk out. And they're like, where do you go? And he says, you guys are content just to fight over the King of England's table scraps. But I want something more. And so he goes back out to continue fighting. And that's how I feel like we are right now. We're just fighting over these table scraps.
Table scraps.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
When if we all just came together, because there's over 300 million in the nation, if we all just went, we've had enough, we're all going to be nice to each other, and we're over it. Like there would be nothing left for them to do. Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
But there's so much of what they do that infiltrates our lives on a daily basis, like all these guys in Silicon Valley is just like, here we are using YouTube, and it's just like, how would we even start to create something like this that's not YouTube, but does the same service of sharing video to, internationally. It's just, you're kind of stuck, I feel like.
Yeah.
So sad.
It's a thing where it's like the whole system has become its own like creature, and it's like you have to jump on board and do everything like this, or you have to completely reject the system and go, I'm off grid.
So this goes back to my phone, which I don't have, but I had my watch that buzzed earlier, and it's a Samsung watch, and that I never wear. So anywho, I got a Samsung, even though I have Mac, and the only reason why I have Mac is because, well, I had an iPad before. Well, I guess it started, I don't know if I had the iPad first or the iPhone first. I think I had the iPad first. And like I started downloading books and movies, and then that was the start of me becoming dependent on this one platform. So then it kind of spread into, oh, well, here's a phone and here's a computer to make it like seamless. But then you get so invested in it, it's just like, I gotta get out of here. Like everything's tied to this, and it's like crazy expensive. And so I got a Samsung as my little tantrum to be rebellious. It's like, screw you, Apple. So yeah, because it's just like they changed their iPhone to where you can't plug in, and so you have to purchase the extra earbuds. And even then on their laptops, like they took off the ports, so you have to buy this extra thing so you can like plug in more USB. And it's just like, dude, come on, your stuff is great, but it's like, don't nickel and dime me. I'm not that affluent. So anywho, I got the Samsung, but there's so many problems now that I have, like, texting with other Apple users. Now it's like, if I want to post a picture that's on my computer, like I have to Google, like it's almost being redundant. Everything's saved on my Apple, cloud, but I have to also upload it to my Google Drive so I can make sure I can access it on my Samsung phone, which is an Android. It's ridiculous. I know. And it's just like, do I just jump ship and say, okay, no more Apple, I'm just gonna get everything on Windows? But then it's just like, I'm jumping from one ship to another ship that's just crap. And who's really looking out for me? So you're just kind of stuck. It sucks. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so depressing right now. Jeez.
It's okay.
It's okay. You just feel powerless as a consumer. Yes. Like you feel like, oh yay, on my Android I can actually like change up my ringtones and change the, just the look of my phone with fonts and stuff that I wasn't able to do with iPhone. But really, like, you're still in the same crappy boat where you're.
And then weirdly, that kind of becomes like a team thing. Like, not so much for me and my peers, but like with Zoe and hers, like PC versus Apple. Like, I remember kids at her school, like getting in, not like physical fights, but like fights, like kids are crying and having to have like conflict resolution sessions with the staff because someone loves Apple so much and someone else is making fun. And it's crazy how that team thing is even built in there. I don't know if that's intentional, like maybe Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, it just worked out that way. But
it's that absolute allegiance that I was talking about. It's like, when did we get to this level of,
like but on one hand, it's really fun to have a team, like when you're cheering for your football team. It gets bad when like you're so mad at the other team that now you're starting riots and you're looting after the victory. It's finding that thing where we can, like, guys, we're all on a team together. Not, but then it's like everyone needs something to collectively fight against. What would everyone fight against if not each other? How about Jupiter? It's far enough away that we can't really mess it up from here. Jupiter is the problem. We're all anti-Jupiter. We probably get offended some like Jupiter enthusiasts. It's like got a big dumb Jupiter hat on, like, oh, Jupiter and its red spot are amazing. Do you love Jupiter? I'm sorry.
I don't know too much. Yeah. Never got in. Well, yeah. Well, like.
He doesn't like when Jupiter talks. Okay.
Okay. It's like, okay, that's
Noted.
Jenny's feeling right there. Jupiter. Like,
Pretty
Jupiter, stop,
indifferent. Yeah.
Yeah.
For Jupiter, we need to be mad at it.
Yeah.
That's where I stand on that.
I just feel like there's so much more to, I don't know, all these big companies. It's just like, I don't know.
So much more to the big company.
Well, okay, like, do you remember, like, it just happened a couple of years ago when, like, everybody's kind of, like, fighting for the attention of the viewer, the consumer, and you had, like, Netflix and Prime, Amazon Prime, and then you have Disney Plus, and it's just like, then you have all these, I don't know, I just feel like, yeah.
I feel like I've stressed you out with all the things I've talked to
I
you
know,
about
like, my
today.
mind's like, the hamster in my mind is like passing out. It's just like, I can't do it anymore.
Well, maybe have I told you about the TED Talk that Amanda Palmer did? Have I mentioned her?
Amanda Palmer.
Yes. It's
I
a
write
very
these down because I actually do like follow up on these things. I'm already, I have a queue going. So
Yay! Oh, that's awesome.
TED Talks, Amanda Palmer.
And it's called The Art of Asking. But
yeah, that sounds really familiar. I might have. I don't know. I'll check it out. I feel like I might have heard that one though. Maybe.
it might be worth like revisiting because she talks about like the good side of having the social media and how she's been able to connect with people and have like these life-changing, really moving experiences that she never would have had without like Twitter and social media. So it's like I just underneath it all, I have to just believe in like that light that it'll shine somehow, like through it all. Like, yeah, there's a lot of shit and a lot of it is overwhelming and maybe we don't have the answers, but overall, like the right something will happen. Like I hope that we're moving in the right direction and that it might be ugly and it might be nasty, but that it'll ultimately give birth to something better. Like I still believe in the best in humanity. You should watch Sacrifice. It made me feel so much better about humanity.
Okay, yeah, because the movement through the Edward Snowden, which was really illuminating, and then what was the other one I just watched? The Social Dilemma. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, you should watch the
I'll watch that next.
Thing. That would have it made me. I don't want to spoil anything because it's so good to just not know anything and have it. But yeah, and it's not that long. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel really bad. But that's what it's like in my head, like all the time. Like I just know all of this stuff. I know stuff that I wish that I could somehow unknow because it doesn't do me any good to worry about it. It does, like I know all the stuff about social media and my data, but what can I really do about it? So I'd almost rather like not know, you know?
Yeah.
Then I can't worry about it.
Trust that the other people who are smart enough and have the influence, like that guy on Social Dilemma, the ethical technology guy, is out there like paving new ways and demanding from Congress to protect the privacy of our citizens. Like, hopefully that's all happening. So
Like there are because there are people out there like that want to do the right thing. They just get in the system and they realize how powerless, like how hard it is to change the system.
yeah.
Like my older sister in teaching, like she really wanted to be a teacher to change people's lives and connect with kids. And then she found like that she just had to teach to the standardized test. And she just had so many like pre-arranged like criteria she had to meet that there was really no room for her agenda. And it was frustrating, like, and it's still frustrating for her as like an assistant principal. Yes, she's an assistant principal. She's scary. But yeah, I do, but I hold on to the hope that like those people are out there. And like people like our dads and like people who make the choice to go spend their time doing things that are definitely benefiting people on an individual level.
Yeah. But I also don't think it gives us an excuse to be passive either.
Right. That's the other thing. Like I try to trust that, but then all the time I'm wondering, but what am I doing? Like I know I can make choices every day that are better, but it's like choosing to bring my own bags to the grocery store versus using the plastic ones. It's like, but that's not enough. Like I can do stuff like that, but that seems like a very, like I'm just changing a habit of mine versus like actually affecting change.
Yeah.
And then it's just figuring out where that fits. Like, what does that look like? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, that's good.
I try to think of, someone said this thing that your life purpose is where your passions and interests meet with the needs of the world. And I think about that a lot now, like, okay, this is interesting to me and I'm very passionate about it. How can that fit with the need the world has? And that's the part. Like music.
Yeah.
But I don't see how that's going to solve anyone's problems.
I think you're going to find somebody who's going to be inspired by what you put out there. You just got to try. You never know. I mean, it might inspire, a young talent to go out there and do it, or the ballet students that you are, performing for. I mean, that's going to help them get to wherever their lives take them, and the positive experience that they'll remember during those days of doing ballet. Be like, I remember that teacher, or that piano teacher, and she was amazing.
Like I just feel like nothing I do is that cool or impressive, but I think a lot of like artists probably feel that way.
Yeah, but we don't have to be significant to be important. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just, as an artist, it's not necessarily about us, it's about the experience of others, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just take it from that and just put your heart out in your music and in your craft, and you never know who's gonna hear it and inspire.
Maybe Joe Rogan will hear it. He lives so close now.
I was gonna say, he lives in Austin now, right?
He does. He lives out on Bee Caves. Yeah, he's totally right there.
Oh my gosh. Y'all are gonna be like shopping at Whole Foods.
Oh my
God.
God.
Right there.
I need to like get myself together, because if I ran into him at any point in the now, I would just be like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I would be the annoying person that I hear him talk about on his podcast. Like, I hate it with people and you're just out trying to do your stuff with your family and they're like, hey, what's up? So I really want to not be that person, but I also like it so much.
Yeah.
Like, it really did have a very big positive effect on my life to have that to listen to when other things in my life weren't great. And I was just in the dark like with the welding all day. And it was so great to have something else going on in my head. So,
Hello. So, I mean, like, see,
yeah,
like, I'm sure he put himself out there, not really, I don't know. I'm sure he had a purpose to what he was doing, but he put himself out there.
yeah,
And
he's talked
how,
about it, and he did not intend for the podcast to ever be a thing. He just was hanging out with his buddies, and they wanted a chance to kind of work on their comedy more,
yeah,
and they were going to do it conversationally, and they just put it up for fun. And then it just got so much good feedback, and they liked it so much that now they've been doing it for like over 1,000 episodes
yeah.
for like 10 years. Yeah, and so
I don't think I started listening to him, I don't know, maybe 2, 3 years ago, on and off, but good stuff. I really like good stuff. And Jerry likes, like, a lot of some of the guest speakers he brings on, especially the ones who have a military background. Like, he finds that, for Jerry, that's interesting to him. And,
yeah. Have y'all listened to the guys with military background who have seen the UFOs? Have y'all done that?
no, I haven't. Like, we listened to one, and he's a hunter, and he
Oh, okay.
um, I think that came out this year, maybe. I don't know.
I swear I know who I can't think of his name.
Yeah. But I guess,
Oh, there was a bald guy he had on recently who was former Navy SEAL. I cannot think of his name, but he had such a great political point of view and like great, like actual solution kind of ideas. Oh, and he was talking about the police force too. Gosh, what was his name? Anyway, none of that rings a bell. A bald guy.
No, well, so I listened to it on Stitcher, so I don't actually watch.
Oh, okay.
I mean, unless, like, when I did watch the Elon Musk one on his show.
Okay.
But most of the time, I just listen to it rather than watch.
Okay.
I wonder if it's the same. It's the same, right?
Yeah, it's totally the same. Like the only thing that you miss is just seeing their faces, or like occasionally he'll pull up a picture or something.
Oh, got it.
But it's just them sitting there talking.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. It used to be them sitting there talking and smoking weed, but now he lives in Texas. Him moving to Texas makes me think that maybe it's going to be legalized here soon, or maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. He's a big guy for CBD oil. Like, I don't know too much about CBD oil, but, like, as far as the benefits of using CBD for anxiety or to help you sleep, maybe that's what I should be doing.
Maybe it's supposed to be good for calming anxiety, like CBD by itself in particular. Like even my older sister has used CBD for like her back and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. She said it helped, but yeah, it's supposed to be very good and helpful for anxiety and for sleep. Yeah, I haven't tried it, not the CBD by itself, but yeah, that is one form that is legal here.
Yeah.
And is it legal in Virginia?
Yes, but it's by a certain percentage, I think, that you can sell it. Like, I don't know. A friend of mine was looking into it because when the CBD was coming out more on the market, like Virginia said it's legal, but it's not legal. Like, I think there's a certain percentage of, I don't know enough about this, maybe from where it comes from, the stem. Does it come from the stem? I don't know. I have no idea. But anyways.
It comes from the buds of it usually, but the CBD part, I don't know the specifics.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics either, but I think there's like a certain amount that can be in it for it to be sold on the market in the state of Virginia. I could be totally wrong. And it's just like, no, have all the CBD you want. But I have no idea. But I know they do sell it. I mean, there's stores here that sell it. So
is weed medically legal in Virginia, or is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Actually,
because I know in Washington D.C. it is, which is weird because federally it's still illegal.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I know there's someone at where my mom's place is, and she lives, in a skilled nursing home.
Uh-huh.
But one of the people on her floor, they actually use CBD. I don't know if they still live there or not. I don't know who it is either. HIPAA, but uh, hep. A hippity hop. But yeah, they used CBD. So I mean,
That whole thing is not the CBD, but the legality of it is so weird and so complicated.
I don't understand the legality of it either.
So, well, I get on the soapbox of weed way too much, I feel like. And there are plenty of people who do that. But I don't know. I think it's silly that it's illegal, but that like alcohol is legal. Because it's more concretely linked to death and violent crime. I mean, I get why it's legal because of the money and the prohibition and the mobs and all of that stuff, but it's just from a smart thing to do standpoint. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like the alcohol anymore.
Yeah.
And Zoe's very put off by it too. Like she doesn't like being around people, and I get it because they start to get different.
Silly.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, even though it's like the fun, it makes her very uncomfortable. She's just like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to go down that weird road.
No. I mean, we don't really drink. Not that we haven't though either.
Yeah.
So I guess everything within whatever appropriate amount.
Yeah. And then like everybody's different too. Like you might be fine with like wine with dinner, whereas like other people get in a particular mood when they have that with dinner, So I think that's a huge part of it too. It's just different stuff works for different people.
Yeah. But as far as like the the legal alcohol being legal and weed isn't. Yeah.
I just think that everything should be legal. Like if there's any potential benefit to your health or psyche, then you should have access to it. You should have all of the information, like, hey, just so you know, these are the warnings. This is what you need to do it responsibly. But I think if you did it that way versus no, it's illegal and you go to jail, then it would be maybe better and more workable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff on psychedelics that is fascinating about it being kind of the birthplace of a lot of religions and the ancient Sanskrit scrolls with like the recipe for the mead that they made. There's a lot of very interesting stuff there. And it was like treating PTSD using small doses of DMT for military veterans was apparently really effective. I'm kind of talking out of my butt because I don't remember the exact study or anything. But yeah, it was giving them doses of some kind of psychedelic as a treatment for their PTSD. And it was actually a really effective treatment, like a massive reduction in the symptoms and the attacks, and like went on to lead normal functional lives after their treatment. I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot of potential for healing there that is maybe healthier than a methadone clinic or like prescribing Xanax. Or because I took the Xanax for a long time and it was really hard to stop taking it. I still get this weird like kind of brain thing.
You feel like an addiction to it, kind of, or like a dependency.
I can't hear you. What?
Hello?
Oh, okay. I turned my volume down. Sorry.
Oh, so you kind of built like a dependency and addiction to it after
from
taking it?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
from needing it regularly to sleep. And then like the Zoloft, I think, was a regular thing I took every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it altered my brain chemistry and the way that the neurons fire. And apparently that's what this weird kind of brain electrical zap thing I get. It's so weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's like
Yeah.
this electrical impulse just goes poof, 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 poof through my brain.
Yeah.
I stopped taking it at least 4 or 5 years ago, probably, and I still get that. But yeah, I didn't sleep for like a year at night properly. I was taking Benadryl and I would get these fitful naps, but I would just go into this like panic state without having something to turn it off. It was so hard to sleep normally again, and
Yeah.
I would never take it again if I'd had another option. I wish I'd had another option,
Yeah.
and I think there should be another option other than just take a pill.
Yeah.
Like it has
I
its place.
wonder if there's a lot more to it. I feel like, as far as I wonder if there's these pharmaceutical companies will lose out on money if we do this. Like when I did something to my elbow, it was when we were selling our house, and you have to constantly clean the home while
Yeah.
you're doing showings, and that's really stressful. So I'm like doing a mad dash through the house vacuuming, or maybe I steam cleaned the carpets. But anyways, I had hurt my elbow, and like I had this big knot on my elbow, and so I went to my GP, my general practitioner, and I was like, hey, this happened. She said, well, we can prescribe you this and da da da. And I was like, I don't like taking like pills unless I need to. And so I was like, let me try an alternative method. She said and it was acupuncture, sorry. So anyways, but it was acupuncture. And so the only problem with it is that insurance doesn't cover acupuncture, which I'm like, why, man? Like, why? So anywho, I did acupuncture for, I want to say 2 months, and it went away. It helped, and then you start working on other things to kind of balance out my body. But then I stopped going because it gets expensive. I'm like, I'm sorry, like I can't keep up with this. So
That is like the crappiest thing. I wish that you could get those alternative therapies on insurance.
yeah,
It stinks that you have the one option.
yeah,
But stuff like that, it doesn't instantly cure it.
yeah.
Like that's the thing.
She is one man, Johnny, one man.
He's one man.
Yeah.
A man with a plan.
This new ECRA because I can't keep
Is
track.
everything okay?
Yeah, he's on a work call.
Okay.
This is really loud. Do we talk that
I don't know. Maybe. I'm the only one in this room of our house right now.
loud? No.
So I don't know how loud I am. I'm probably pretty loud. I think I'm probably very
That was really loud though.
It's
Like-
nice. I thought his face was just going to show up right there because it sounds. Was he
Yeah.
still standing over there?
No, he went upstairs now. So yeah, that was funny. I don't know. He came down for snacks. What time is it? Is it lunchtime? I actually have to push off soon. Yeah, it's 11:45. Just because I gotta
wow.
get my test done.
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
Get ready for my images.
That's so awesome.
That's
so
really
exciting.
bad dancing.
That's awesome. Have you ever seen Tori Amos dance? He doesn't do it often because it's really bad. Like, I've looked it up and it was hard to find on YouTube. But, like, you're good. There are worse dancers out there and they're way into it. So, like, just do your thing.
Just do your thing. Nice.
Nice. My wife. It makes me so happy when I get to say that.
Oh my God, I love talking to you every week. I know we say this every week, but like it really is fun hanging out with you.
I love it too. I'm so glad. I was worried that I might be boring. But it's so fun.
It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. I mean, like, I don't know. I know in the past we haven't like always talked this often, so it's really nice. I love
it.
that we're here 30 years later and like, yeah, just chilling like it was no time has passed.
I know. It's so special. Like, I listened to Miley Cyrus talking, and she was saying, like, I feel so lucky that I have friends I've known, like, since I was, like, 10 and 11, and that's so precious. And I was like, it is precious, isn't it, Miley Cyrus? It is. It is. I mean that, like, and I love that I talk to you every week. Because, like, in high school, we talked, like, all the time. And it was just, like, needing to have a regular, I don't know, having the thing to look forward to. It's awesome. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. So I will definitely check out I will check out Sacrifice next because that's on the list. Get a like, you know, a boost of confidence and humanity. So.
It's such a good one for that. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait, what's this? Masuro Water?
Oh, Masaru Emoto. Yeah, the hidden messages in water. He's the guy who put the messages on water, and they formed different beautiful crystals when you put loving messages.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I was like, what's this one? I always put your stuff in like little bubbles. Like,
oh,
so like I have my little notes, and then I have, yeah. So anyways.
That's awesome. Sacrifice. I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
Okay.
I promise it'll be good. It'll make you feel better.
Okay, I'll wait until Jerry is available and we'll watch it because he likes watching documentaries too. So
like I think it'll reach him too. Like it reached me and Eric and Zoe. Like, we were all like, whoa, amazing. So yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, tell the family hi.
I will. Tell your family and your kitty hi too. Oh, and your doggy, because you have your doggy too. Yeah.
Doggies. Well, all the family, fur babies and all. So
yes, all of them.
all of them. So Friday next week, I think I'm good. I should be.
Cool. If
yeah, I
me.
am okay. Sorry.
And tell me your brothers and Margaret. Can you send me their stuff? Like whenever?
Yes. I'll email it to you just because. Or text it. I don't know where my phone is, so I'll probably just email it to you.
That's cool. Good luck with that.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's how I turned it down earlier.
Awesome.
I'm good.
All right. Well, have a good weekend.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
I'll talk to you later.
What? Okay.
Sorry.
I'll talk to you later. It'll be great.
Sounds excellent.
This is awesome. Anybody who's viewing it at this point, y'all are diehards.
They are, and I love anyone who's watching, like, so much. And I mean that sincerely. Seriously and sincerely. That's what it was.
Serious. I like it. All right.
Okay. It's been long and awkward. So, have a nice lunch.
You too.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Damn it. I'm trying. Yay! I did it. Oh, that was an amazing thing. Okay. Michelle, you're beautiful. I love you. Love, love, love. Love you, love you, love you.